Resentment is an emotion that every single person who has a narcissistic parent feels, and you may feel it regularly. You may feel it pretty much all the time. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what is resentment, why it's really toxic to you, how it can make you sick, and what you can do about it. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. I'm a transpersonal psychologist, holistic nutritional chef, and best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. And I help wounded ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to become healed icons. And an icon is somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. And I do that in my Iconic Me therapeutic one-on-one coaching program, in my online courses with the Shift Network, and my own online courses in the Toxic Parent Recovery Summit that I host each year, and in all my videos right here on this channel. There are hundreds of videos for you to watch here. All right, so let's get to it. What is resentment? Resentment, it's such an interesting word because the word is resentment. Like you're resending this emotion over and over and over again in your system. And it really can break you down, and it can really cause a lot of problems in your life. Resentment includes bitterness. It includes anger. Sometimes it includes rage. And it's something that you'll recycle over and over and over again. You're resending it through your system all the time if you're holding on to resentments that you have towards your narcissistic parent. You feel it when you've been wronged. You feel it when you've been dismissed, belittled, shamed, guilted. That is every single day with a narcissistic parent. And so this is a really important emotion to work with because resentment is so powerful and it can really, really hurt you. In fact, resentment can actually make you sick. There's been a connection between resentment, long-held resentments, and cancer that a lot of people have seen. You see it more with complementary care cancer doctors who will really look at the emotional impact and what's happened in your life and how those emotions will impact your body. And I've seen this a lot in my practice. I always ask people when they come to me with cancer, they're trying to prevent it from coming back. I always ask them, what's eating you? And if you think about that, resentment is something that's eating away at you. Cancer is something that's eating away at you. And so if you look at the metaphor of that experience and you start really asking yourself and looking at your life, I often will say, what happened in the last 2 years before your diagnosis? And a lot of times people will come to me and say, okay, well, my husband left me, he cheated on me. So there's a big betrayal experience. And when you have betrayal experiences like this, you will build resentment. When you're not speaking up and asking for what you want, or with a narcissistic parent, you can't speak up and ask for what you want because it will never, ever be honored or even heard because they don't see you, they don't hear you, they don't understand you, they don't get you. And that's a really difficult way to grow up and to go into adulthood, because so often we continue these relationships with our parents as we go into adulthood. And a lot of people do go no contact. But for those of us who don't, we need to learn about emotions like this and how they can affect our bodies. Resentment, in my opinion, after almost 30 years of working with the emotional impact of abuse on the body and having gone through it myself, resentment is toxic. It's a poison that you keep sending through your system over and over and over again. Now, we know that emotions can make us sick. There's so much science behind this now. When you register an emotion, every single cell of your body registers that emotion. And so if you're spinning in resentment, you're spinning in bitterness, you're spinning in shame and guilt and fear and all of these different emotions that come up from being raised with or dealing with a narcissistic parent each and every day, that can make you really, really sick. And I don't want you to get sick. I want you to get well, and I want you to prevent all of this from happening. And so what do you do with resentment? How do you stop resending it? And then what about when new resentments come up? Because there's always going to be another betrayal experience. part of the healing process that I use to help people heal, I look at the entire holistic picture, mental, emotional, physical, and energetic and spiritual. So I'm looking at the entire picture and how emotions impact the body over time. If emotions can make us sick, they can also make us well. So I really think about emotional wellness and emotional healing and health. And how do we go from being resentful and angry and spinning in all of these negative emotions to being peaceful, happy, compassionate, caring, kind, especially towards ourselves? Because one of the things that we tend to do is all of this programming that the narcissistic parent programs you with as a child is something that you end up turning in on yourself. And it's so important to look at this, to look at how are you criticizing yourself? How are you putting yourself down? How are you being really hard on yourself? How are you making yourself jump through hoops by being overly perfectionistic? And how are you hurting yourself in the process of putting all that pressure on you, that pressure that the narcissistic person put on you? So resentment, I think, is a normal emotion. I think it's a normal thing to build up when you have no place to go with the emotions that are happening. You have no resolution with that narcissistic parent. And so you feel stuck in that. And so you'll keep resending those emotions. And in some ways, you may think that resentment is protecting you somehow, but it's absolutely not. So let's release it. Let's talk about how we can release resentment. Now, my primary thing is because I look at the holistic system, I want a therapy that also has a somatic component, how your body's holding the experience. That's why I created whole person integration technique, because that technique helps you to really see how that resentment is impacting your body. And so maybe you feel that resentment in your chest, and you've got breast cancer, or you've had breast cancer and you're trying to keep it from coming back. But as you release the resentment, you can feel better. And let me give you a story of somebody who came to me who had cancer. She had it in her tongue. So she had reference to the tumor. She could see it. It was splitting the tongue, and it created this ridge in there. And you could see the tumor and you could see it growing. And so it was very painful, of course. And for this one particular session that we had, she'd had an interaction with her abuser, which happened to be her father. And in that interaction, the next day, she had totally broken out all around her mouth and in her mouth with cold sores, canker sores. So she was in a lot of pain in and out of her mouth. It was really hard for her to eat, and it was tough. So we started to look at the abuse situation that she had gone through as a child. And we used my whole person integration technique to do that, to get into the tongue and where she was holding that resentment, because that was the emotion that we were working with that day. And when she got to the resentment and she saw the holistic connections, she had the memory connected to, or multiple memories that were connected to the resentment she was holding in her tongue. Plus, she had the beliefs that she was believing about herself as a result of the way she had been treated by her father. And then, of course, having a conversation with her father really triggered her around all of that. So then these canker sores came up. So once she was able to get to the resentment and release the energy of the resentment, release that negative core belief, see the entire picture and how it was affecting her now and how it was causing the cancer, she was like, I don't want that in my body. So we did the whole release process so she could let go of that energy of forgiveness. And guess what happened? By the next morning, the ridge on the tongue healed up and all of the canker sores were gone. She said it was the most profound experience of her life when she was able to really see how that resentment was working in her body, how it was so toxic, it was creating this tumor. Now, she still had the tumor in there, but all of the things around the tumor were actually healing, or actually healed literally overnight, because she gave her body exactly what it needed. And her body needed to release that energy, to release that pressure valve of resentment that was being held in the body. The body is so wise, and it knows exactly what to do when you give it what it needs. So really think about that and think about you and the resentments that you may be holding. And I want you to do a little exercise with me right now. So think about a resentment that you have towards your narcissistic parent. Maybe they did something really horribly heinous, like they spread a story around to everybody that made all these people cut you off. I hear this all the time in my practice. And so, like, people that you love and revere and care about are not even talking to you anymore because of something that the narcissist in your life told them. And the story was so fantastical and horrible that nobody wants to check it out with you, because it's so uncomfortable. The whole thing is so uncomfortable. And they're afraid of the narcissistic person and their reaction if you do tell them. It's really messy the way this is all done. So really look at a place where you're holding a resentment towards your narcissistic parent. And then what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and then take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. It's a cleansing breath. And then take another one. And then one more. Just feeling your body relax as you exhale with your eyes closed. And now I want you to scan your body and I want you to look for where you're holding that resentment. And you might be holding it in multiple places, but I want you to go to the place that's the loudest. And I want you to feel the feeling. I want you to feel the physical feeling. I want you to feel the feeling of that resentment and what it's doing in your body. So if you're feeling it in your chest, for instance, and you're feeling it constrict and you're feeling a pain in your chest, that resentment is being held in that part of the body. And over time, that will drain your energy, where it will then eventually drain your biology, and it can create issues like lung issues and heart disease, issues there in the lungs and the chest, and maybe even breast cancer, something in that chest area. So, and that's your center. This is your heart center. It's the center of your being. It is the part that balances your earthly life with your spiritual or energetic life, however it is that you see that. Or don't. Maybe you're disconnected from that and because you have religious wounds or spiritual wounds. And so working through those and the resentment you have towards that will be really important. And so as you feel that, I want you to put your hand on that part of your body. And I want you to ask that as much energy of this resentment to be released from your body, from your energy field, from your mind, and any insights that you're ready to see, for those to come up for you. So I want you to feel that, and any insights, maybe some memories will surface that are associated with this resentment and this pain in your chest. So really just feel into that. And just feel yourself letting go. Feel yourself releasing some of that energy around resentment. Just letting it off, letting off that steam, opening the pressure valve and letting it go. And just feel as your body starts to relax a little bit. And I want you to think of a quality that you want to put into your heart. And maybe that quality is compassion, self-compassion. So just put that quality in your heart. It could be compassion, love, peace, kindness, caring. But for the sake of this, we're going to just put self-compassion in the heart. And I want you to feel that energy, that compassion flooding your entire body and out into your energy field. And just feel that energy just really flooding your whole body. And whenever you feel the warmth of that compassion, you can take a deep breath and gently come back. And did you notice a shift in the energy from resentment, the physical sensation and what it did to your body, and then releasement? I love the word releasement. It's like a process of forgiveness, letting go of that energy from your field. And then did you feel that energy open up so that now there's space. And so in that space, you put in compassion, and the compassion feels so good. And if you're having a hard time with this, that's totally fine. It's our systems get so gummed up by these negative emotional experiences and these negative beliefs, these core negative beliefs that we hold from our narcissistic parents. And why wouldn't they? You know, we swim in all of these emotions all day long for years on end. And the programming of those beliefs of you're never going to get it right, you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you're not worthy of time or energy or anything. You might feel like you don't matter, that you're not important, you're invisible, you're only to be blamed and shamed and guilted and scapegoated. So if you think about all those emotions and how those pile up in your system, then give yourself some grace and give yourself some love and some support, and just find help, seek help to help you get well. If this video has been helpful and useful to you, please hit the like button, please. It helps get it out into the algorithm so more people get to see it. And also, please comment below. Did this help you? Do you want more of these kinds of exercises that we can do together to help you with your healing process? Or request a video that you would like me to record about a particular subject having to do with parental narcissistic abuse and the holistic connections and the impact that can have on your body over time. If this information resonates with you and you would like to talk to me, I do have free consultations available if you're maybe interested in working with me and learning more about my process, because it's very different than the other processes that are out there. And it might be something that really speaks to you. And if it does, please feel free to book a free call with me. And the links are in the comments and the description below. Okay, so resentment is so important to release, and you do it every single time you need to. And so I really recommend that you find a protocol, a process. Finding a process that works for you is really empowering when you have a narcissistic parent, because that's a process that you can recycle and use over and over and over again to help yourself as you heal from the wounds of parental narcissistic abuse. I hope that this particular video has been really helpful for you, has helped you get a better perspective on resentment and what it can do to your body, your mind, your soul, and helped you release some of that energy from your field. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I thank you so much for watching. And I hope this information will help you get well now.